Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Viewpoint, this 17th day of April 2020, the last edition for the week. It is our pleasure knowing that you are there to accompany us in this edition in which we examine what people think about current issues in the country, in Africa, and the world at large. In today's edition of the program, we are glad to receive two gentlemen of the same profession, the profession in which they call the noble profession. They are all teachers. We have Mr. Njek Marcel. Good evening, sir, and thank you for accepting our invitation.
Thank you, Mr. Venetius. Good evening, fellow listener of the DBS TV. Good evening once more.
Thank you so much. Accompanying Mr. Njek Marcel is Mr. Ngum Eric. Good evening, Mr. Ngum.
Good evening, Mr. Venetius. It's my pleasure to be at DBS again. Good evening to the viewers of DBS this evening.
Thank you. Like you have been following, the viewpoint is made up of two parts. The first part is actually the part that we would examine their point with the yes and no question. And then when we come back, we'll take the second part as usual. Right away, we would take this transition to get into the first part of the program. And this first part will begin with questions. Our viewers, our guests are expected to give us their points by answering yes or no to these 5 questions. We'll begin with the first question and would expect Njek Marcel to answer. The first question is, does the presidential decree to release some prisoners decongest overcrowded prisons in Cameroon, Mr. Njek?
Mr. Venetius, I don't think so.
So your answer is
no.
No.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Ngum Eric, what's your answer?
It's a good gesture, but I don't think it's going to play a part in decongesting the prison cells in Cameroon.
So your answer is?
It's no.
Good. The answer is no. We take the second question and we remain with you, Mr. Ngum Eric. Is the claim by African herbalists and traditional doctors to cure coronavirus acceptable?
No, I cannot believe so.
Mr. Ngum says it is not acceptable. And Mr. Njek?
No, I think it is acceptable. I believe in them too.
Mr. Njek says it is acceptable that African herbalists and traditional doctors cure coronavirus. We take the third question. I will remain with you, Mr. Njek. Some politicians suggest that the government should deduct the salary of ministers to fight this pandemic. Is such a proposal acceptable to you?
Yes, I think it's very, very acceptable.
He says it is acceptable to deduct salaries of ministers to fight the pandemic. Mr. Ngum?
Yes.
He shares the same opinion as well. We take the fourth question. Should African states retaliate following the recent xenophobic attitude of Chinese towards Africa? Mr. Ngum, I remain with you.
Yes, I believe this is the right time for us to react.
He says Africans should react. And Mr. Njek?
No, I don't think so.
Mr. Njek says they should not react. And we take the last question for today. Is the move by the US president to suspend American assistance to the World Health Organization a right one at this crisis moment, Mr. Njek?
No.
He says no, it is not. Mr. Ngum?
Yes.
Mr. Ngum thinks that it is the right move at the right time. That is the end of this first part. We'll be right back for the second part, which will be consecrated to debate shortly after this transition. You are welcome back, and if you are just joining us, you're watching Viewpoint here on DBS television this last day of the week. We take this second part that is precisely meant for debating, where our guests will tell us why they think the answers they gave in the first part are what they have. Gentlemen, we'll begin with you, Mr. Njek. We're talking about the presidential decree to release some prisoners, that whether it would decongest overcrowded prisons in Cameroon. And you said no, that it cannot. What is your point?
Actually, it's not as if I'm not appreciating what the president has done.
Actually?
I really do appreciate it. Was a laudable effort. But the extent to which it was done actually cannot decongest the prisons in Cameroon.
Go ahead.
Yes, because we were expecting him to give, to grant presidential pardon to prisoners.
Which he did.
He just gave a remission and commutation, reducing the terms of prisoners and so on. We wanted something that will release people from prison so that they can get out of the risk of contaminating, being contaminated with the coronavirus. If he reduces the term of prisoners and they still remain there during this dangerous period, he has not done anything actually. That to me, that is nothing. And then I was thinking that he would also have reduced the prisoners from the prison, so that at least the money that they are taking now to feed and to keep the prisoners there could have been used now to fight the coronavirus instead of keeping these people there. Because the government is feeding them. It's huge money to feed those people there every day. So I know that in Cameroon we have at least at the minimum of 25,000 prisoners in the whole of a country, nationwide. So just imagine the feeding of 25,000 people every day. This money can be used to maybe use a part of it used to fight the coronavirus, and then the lives of these people in there who have been saved. Because if the thing gets there now, they are talking of social distancing, and we have been seeing pictures from prisons, how those prisoners, they sleep one after the other. Can there be social distances in the prisons? I say no. So actually, the president has not done anything, because he has done.
He has done something, but the thing is not enough.
It is not really enough. Yes, it's not really enough. Yes, but I think he just got up because people have been asking from the pressure, and he wanted to know that he's alive because people have been saying that he's not there, that he's dead. That was a way of announcing that he's still alive. So he has not actually done anything to save the situation.
Okay. Mr. Ngum, you shared the same opinion that the move does not decongest prisons in Cameroon.
Well, when I look at the gesture of Mr. President of the Republic, Paul Biya, when I got that, I congratulated that gesture for him using the Article 8 of our penal code to use his power as clemency to release some prisoners. It does not play a part to reduce the population in prison cells. Why? What is the cause of our prison to be always congested? I think the recent thing is the current crisis that are going on in Northwest and Southwest, and it is still going on. Releasing some when they are still arresting plays no part. And the majority of the people, they say they have granted them clemency. They are people that have been arrested around the Marché Central, Yaoundé, children that have been disturbing here with thieves. So I want to think that releasing those people they have prescribed that they were not in line with threatening the peace of the country plays nothing as a gesture to see that peace come back. Coronavirus is just one thing that have come, but we always have an everlasting threat. That is the threat of thieves and the threat of Northwest and Southwest crisis that have been constantly arresting and putting. As we talk, they have not yet released, but we cannot count the number of persons that were arrested yesterday and even today in Northwest and Southwest. So I don't really believe that the President of the Republic have done something. Rather, he is just proving, like my colleague said, that he is still alive.
Okay, Mr. Ngum, I think that the move was to limit possibilities of the spread of the virus. The move had no link to the crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions.
Yeah, it is true. It was aimed to limit the possibility. We cannot detect how many persons are in those cells. If true,
we the Cameroon government, or
Mr. Venatius, the president wouldn't have been focused into releasing some. If truly we want to fight coronavirus, everybody will have been released in such a way that if truly they want to save their lives, some should not be kept and some are released. Some are reduced their prison terms. If reducing the prison term does not declare social distances, it still has to do with if the virus truly enter our prison cells, these guys that will be left will still be contaminated. So I think that decongesting is not a solution to this pandemic we are facing. The president would have seized this advantage to even bring peace, release everybody without putting any exception. That is what we Cameroonians were waiting to receive as a gift
from the president. And we all accept that most of these prisoners that we have in our prisons today, most of them are hardened criminals. Criminals that have been, disturbing us in our quarters. So you are of the opinion that we should release them, is that?
If they were to be released, they should be, all of them should be released.
Okay.
Threatening the peace of the country, maybe politically, has nothing to do. But a thief is more dangerous than a politician that you are saying. So I want to see that they have released those thieves and they have help them not to pass justice for their criminal works done. Instead, spelled and reserved the politicians that maybe are clamoring for change in the country. So I don't really appreciate that move of releasing some in the name of decongesting prison cells. It does not help Cameroonians in any way.
Yes, please.
Yes, I'm of this opinion that in this country we should start thinking of modern ways. I don't see the need taking people go and put in a particular place called prisons. I was thinking if I was in a position to take decision, I would have preferred that if you are a criminal or you have committed an offense, they should rather maybe in our towns, we have dirty places, dirty towns. We can say we give them, as the French in the days of the colonial masters, they will say corvée. If you can be sanctioned 2 months of hard labor, you are working, you keep the town clean. Rather than taking somebody go and keep in the cell for 4 months, 5 months, you are feeding the person, spending to keep that person there. It makes no sense.
But I think prisons, they refer to prisons as correctional institutions.
We can still correct them right outside. They can still correct them right outside. You must not go and keep somebody somewhere that, are you even sure they're correcting them there?
Looking at our prison, let me just say that looking the way the government of our country use their prisons, it is not really for corrections. If we can cite, there are many cases of our engineers of this country that could have helped to maybe let this country to grow some way. But these people, like I tell you, majority of them are there for 5 years, 6 years when they have not passed judgment.
So
it's not for correction.
These are your points. These are your views when it comes to releasing these prisoners from our prisons. Now we take the second questions. The second question is we are talking about. We remain with you, Ms. Angum. These African herbalists and traditional doctors who claim to cure coronavirus. And you say you do not accept such a claim.
I strongly disagree that a traditional doctor can show up that he is capable of treating coronavirus. The doctors whom we know, they are capable of diagnosing and bringing up what exactly you are sick of. They are treating coronavirus based on symptoms. Now, if the symptoms, you had fever, you have been given drugs for fever, you had catarrh, that is, you have treated catarrh, you have been treated fever, but what about the coronavirus? The traditional herbalists can treat fever. They have been treating what they call yellow fever using their herbs. I myself, I do believe in that. But they cannot relate that into treating coronavirus.
Mr. Angum, we have been talking of cases of treated cases. As of late, Cameroon is reporting more than 100 cases that have been treated. Is it by chance, according to you?
What I would say is that Cameroon government and our doctors, right down to all the sectors, they are capable of doing everything. We don't really have this machine to actually test that this person is having coronavirus.
Is that what you think, or that's what is?
I've seen many cases. I've seen many cases in the field where somebody was sick of fever. He's been taken 3 months ago, was considered a coronavirus patient. So we cannot really say that treated cases. All is that we are in gambling and we are praying that coronavirus, as he have come, he should see Cameroon as a country that is incapable to handle and just go quietly, because those recovering maybe are those that were sick of malaria,
different
fever, those that were sick. Because now let's take it factually.
So according to you, they were not coronavirus patients?
No, let's take it factually. What about those that have been naturally involved into sinus trees? They have been involved into catarrh. They have been involved into cough. How do we classify them now?
You and I, or medical personnel, because I think they carry out the diagnostic test to be sure that your test, from the blood is positive or negative. No.
What they have been saying is that the treatment is based on symptoms. The treatment is based on symptoms. If the treatment is based on symptoms, if you have catarrh now, it is a symptom of coronavirus.
Yes.
If you normally have what they call high blood temperature,
higher temperature than normal.
Temperature, it is a symptom of coronavirus. So they are treating the symptoms
and not the virus.
Not the virus.
I think that they use a combination of these symptoms put together before they conclude, after they must have carried out specimens from you to carry out the test.
Then if so, a specific drug would have been discovered that it is for coronavirus used nation and or worldwide.
That is your opinion.
Yes.
All right. We take Mr. Njek, who says that according to him, he accepts the fact that traditional herbalists and African doctors that they treat coronavirus, Mr. Njek?
Yes, of course. Mr. Mange, just imagine, I have not been chance to have one patient, a patient who have been healed from coronavirus, or a doctor who has treated coronavirus, but I've been getting them from the TV and from the radio. Do you know that even those doctors who claim to have treated coronavirus, if you ask them what medicine do you use, apart from the chloroquine and so on, they will not tell you a clear-cut medicine that are used to treat a coronavirus. Therefore, mean that they themselves are still struggling. They don't even know. They don't know which concoction or which medicine actually treated, because they will give chloroquine, they will give this one, give that one. And we have been hearing from other sources, even from China and so on, they say harsh substances like ginger, garlic, bitter leaf, and
but the Minister of Public Health came out, 2-3 weeks ago to indicate to Cameroonians that ginger, bitter cola, and garlic, that they do not treat coronavirus.
That is what they are saying, but other people have used it. If that is confession or the testimony that other people are giving from different countries.
Okay, that is treating them.
That is treating them. Now, going back to our African herbalists, even if the doctor who claimed to have been trained don't know a clear-cut treatment for coronavirus, why can't give the African herbalists a chance?
So according
they claim
to you,
they know they have it because they have been treating other illnesses that we have been given testimony of being treated by them.
So according to you, African doctors are treating coronavirus.
They should give them a chance. They have treated. They should, because the chance has not been given to them.
Okay.
We have just been afraid that might be when we get there, they will, since we are not sure of them, the thing will may get out of hand and so on. But I believe that if these people are given a chance, they can do something better.
Okay. For we take, for example, in China, Chinese doctors have been advised to consider mixing Western, antiviral drugs with traditional Chinese medicines to treat COVID-19.
Good.
Now, in Zimbabwe, government have authorized herbalists to treat COVID-19 patients, as reported by VOA recently. And in Tunisia, it is said to have been turning towards the use of herbs to fight the virus. So I think Africa is on the move to make sure that, but as of now, there is no defined prescribed treatment for coronavirus, but Africans are on the move to make sure that they come up with something, right?
Mr. Mange, let's get out of colonialism.
Yes.
These people, all what they are trying to do, they are trying to relegate our African medicines behind.
Yes.
To prove that we are not we don't have anything.
That everything must come from the white.
Everything must come from outside there.
Yes.
If people have, the doctors, even from China, they don't even know what they use to treat their own cases.
Yes.
They are still struggling, mangling, they don't even know.
Okay.
So I believe that these people, if they give them a chance, because they have been doing it, you quoted the case of Zimbabwe already.
Yes, Zimbabwe, Tunisia, even the China itself.
Yes. So they will not accept. Okay, even if when they say chloroquine was tested and effective in China, and they say France said that until the World Health Organization approves
of it, they will not use it.
So they will not use it. What does that mean? Therefore, mean that they don't want that the solution should come from somebody else. It must come from me. If I'm not the one giving the solution is fake.
Okay.
So that is it.
That is your view. That is what you think, gentlemen.
Yes,
now, we take the third question for time constraint. Some politicians suggest in Cameroon that the government should deduct the salaries of ministers to fight this pandemic. Mr. Njek, I remember with you. Yes. Is such a proposal acceptable to you? You said yes.
I said yes, and I will still repeat. Of course, you see our ministers in Cameroon, at times they claim to be the most patriotic citizens in this country.
No.
Let me come back. They claim to therefore to be more patriotic than some of us.
Okay.
We don't have, that's the most patriotic, because as they are there over there, they always preach patriotism, but they don't practice it.
Okay.
In other countries, you see, even in Cameroon, there's still some parliamentarian from the Cabral Libi party.
Even the Cabral Libi himself. Then there's this Honorable Noran.
She has given her salary to have 12 months salary to be used to treat coronavirus.
Since official, this information is not yet official. I think so.
But it's not yet official.
Okay.
They must not. If this our country, I don't know. Everything that is official must come from the government. If an individual does something, especially does something that is threatening the interest of the government, they will not make it official.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
So why can our ministers not even themselves deliberately say no? Use this amount. These people, they have money. They have salaries of at least 750,000 francs. Beside that, they have free lodging, free cars, free housemate, free driver, free everything, free for everything.
Yes.
And at the end of the month, they'll be getting about 1.5, 2 million francs. Somebody who's earning just about 200,000 francs, 300,000 francs, you have to pay your rent. You have to pay your driver. You have to pay for your transport.
All this.
You see that? You see the difference? Why the minister's own salary are increasing? Your own.
So according to
they are
you,
expecting you to instead contribute to show that you are patriotic.
So according to you, they should deduct their salary?
I think they should deduct. They can even suspend because they have enough. Even the budget that they go and defend at the National Assembly every year, they have never gone to say that this budget that I collected this year, this is what it was used for. Because normally, a minister, when you go to defend a budget, you defend at the end of the year, go back and present your project. I took this amount of money. This is what I did. With it. And then this is what, yes. At times, there must either be a deficit or a balance. Yes. What do you do with the balance? Or what, even if there's a deficit, that is it.
Let us assume that every year we always work on a deficit. Mr. Ngum, you were of the opinion that these politicians, that their salaries should be deducted. You shared the same opinion.
Mr. Venatius, I want to say that we should really even look at this coronavirus as a very good indicator of the nature of government that we have. We have shown how fragile our government is. We have seen that we have a government that cannot fit even a single party. Coronavirus have come to Cameroon, and we took up good measures to prevent that it should not spread. Now, we have been 1 month home, close to 1 month home.
We teach, in fact, Cameroon.
Cameroon is 1 month home. Because when one sector is down, all the sectors goes down because they are connected.
Especially the educational
sector that touches everybody.
I know you speak from my experience.
So now, what we are saying now is that if the government have bring out a request that the commoners should contribute, because they say Cameroonians should contribute.
Yes.
I call it commoners because removing 1,000 francs out of a pocket of somebody that is not working. Take, for example, the bars that depend in the night to sell. They are not operational. But they are they going to contribute? No. How will I contribute when the mayor is going to the council every day and my bar is not opening? I'm supposed to, for example, contribute. How am I going to contribute when the prime minister is going to the office every day?
And you are not going.
I'm not working. I prefer that this is a high time they should slash their salaries and see that, or they charge a compulsory contribution to from everybody to chip in to see, because
compulsory composition. Contribution. So if they ask that, okay, if you mean for ministers or for Cameroonians?
From the government officials.
Okay.
We should not limit from ministers, because Cameroon have been in such a way that a well-placed policeman in a particular sector eat more than the prime minister even. So the government officials, to me, would have been asked a compulsory amount to contribute, because if the company, I call the country a company, is unable to feed the people, is because of the poor managers we have.
Okay.
It's because of the poor. So therefore, they should go down for it.
Okay.
I was expecting that teachers of private sectors, for example, that are now home for close to 1 month, measures should come out. Are they going to pay bills? Do they have children? What about the commoners? Okay, the prime minister said yesterday we are going to bring out.
The prime minister said
we are going
to. They're carrying out
this is
they're studying the sectors.
Very soon they will create a commission. Very soon they are going to create a commission. We are in the dying moment. They are creating commission. We are in the dying moment. They are in analysis. Countries are supposed to be flexible. We have seen other countries that have slashed out and say, okay, why can Cameroon not say they will not celebrate 20th May and take the money for Cameroonians to stay home for 2 weeks?
Okay. That is your opinion, sir, that they should slash them. And we should say that it is not like only Cameroonians who are doing that. And it's not to say that, some of these ministers may be giving quietly. I take the example of the minister delegate at the Ministry of Justice, Jean de Dieu Momo. He contributed. He gave 500,000. He was among the first government ministers.
Mr. Venatius, let me not cut you. A transparent country should bring out the list of the ministers and what they have given. Let Cameroonians see it.
All right.
It will motivate. Just imagine when we were in our days back home in secondary school, when you attend a party, you see this one have given 2,000 francs, for example, in that party. It motivates the other person to say that, no, let me also give 500.
Okay.
Let's see the list of those government officials. We will follow them.
All right. Actually, it's not like Cameroon asking that ministers should do such. Some other countries, we take for example, the Greek prime minister asked lawmakers to donate 50% of their salary to fight the pandemic. In Malawi, ministers and the president took off 10% of their salaries to fight COVID-19. And in Rwanda, government officials were called to give off their salaries for the month of April to make sure that they fight this pandemic. All right, we take the fourth question, and this fourth question, we are talking about African states. We are asking whether African states should retaliate following the recent xenophobic attitude of Chinese towards African. Mr. Nguma, I begin with you.
I started by saying that this is the right time we should.
You said yes, they should retaliate.
Yeah, we should stand up and see that what China in particular is doing to Africa in terms of Cameroon in particular, we should stand up now and see what we are doing for ourselves. The way the Chinese people treat us down here, I see that it is as a result of us Africans being welcoming. But now, if they have shown us a picture of how we can be treated on that moment, because they are sending us away in their country now, because coronavirus is around. In the normal business forum, when there was no coronavirus, they appreciate our coming. So I think
because
that
you bring money.
Yeah, I think that we should open our eyes now and see how we can do. And the only way out, it will be for us to start being independent, manufacturing what we can do for our level. Why do we even manufacture only chloroquine now in Cameroon at the time when coronavirus is coming? When we have been importing all through. I think that the government is just a joke.
Okay, that is your point. You said this is the right moment for Africans to retaliate. Mr. Njek,
yes, sir.
You said no, we should not retaliate towards them. What is your point?
Yes, I said we should not retaliate. If you see like the recent case of this xenophobic attack, it is it was in the town of Guangzhou. Yes, they say it's the southeast town.
Yes, in the southern part of China.
That is it. This even when this confessions are made by Africans themselves. Even when the Chinese officials they were interviewed, they seem to be ignorant of what is even happening there. It is normal. Even in our quarter, I can just get up one day and decide to attack a foreigner that is around me. It does not mean that Cameroonians are against foreigners.
Okay.
You understand? Yes, if I get up and attack a foreigner, I even beat, I kill somebody, they will not. It will not become that Cameroon is against. If there was a law that maybe these people have created to say that the Africans or the foreigners should leave, then it would have been.
But Mr. Njek, we should understand that it was not only one African, 10 Africans. It were a good number, more than 300 Africans who were sent out of their hotels, out of their homes, their apartments. Some were even discriminated in public.
That's why I'm saying that these are individuals who have taken upon themselves to do this. The government
and when such a number is high, should the government cross their arms? And
no, but the government itself, the Chinese government itself can do something. Yes, the problem in this case is that the Chinese government have not has not met.
They have not reacted.
Yeah, they have not reacted. That is the only.
Which means they accepted.
Yes. That is something
Which
like
means
that.
they accepted it.
So, to an extent, it's not yet official. They have reacted. If there's something that is happening and they are not for it, yes, you should at least try to stop or to communicate to even give a clear-cut decision or view about such a happening. So it does not mean that the Chinese government or
that China
we
is
see it even in Africa. Yeah,
yes,
it happens even in South Africa.
In South Africa, yes, these xenophobic tendencies were also recorded.
What should we do?
Okay.
Should we go fighting against each other? Okay. No. So we come. Africans are people who are very welcoming. If we say we should retaliate, we should retaliate. We should not retaliate by in the xenophobic attitude too. We can retaliate by boosting our own economy so that we can be independent from these foreigners. We can the rice that we are importing, those things that we are importing from China and other countries, we cannot decide to produce it in our own country and then be independent from them, so that we cannot have anything. Or even most of the Africans who are going over there are going to look for greener pastures. Yes. Why can we not plant those greener pastures here in our country and then
live back
here? Yeah?
Thank you, gentlemen. For time constraint, we would be calling it off here because we are almost out of our time. But then to indicate that Nigerian foreign minister summoned Chinese ambassador to express extreme concern on such act. It was the same thing that happened in Ghana, and Kenya also did the same, as well as some other European countries, for example, US, that acted the same way. Ladies and gentlemen, time is on our side, and there is no way we can continue in this way. Thank you, gentlemen, for accepting to talk to us on Viewpoint on today's edition of the program. And we hope that when we knock at your door, you will be able to come back again and exchange with our viewers.
And thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure being with you.
Yes, Mr. Ngum.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I thank the viewers that were looking at us, and we pray that the Cameroon government should stand up to see that the citizens feel their homes and believe that they are also in a country that is for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We've come to the end of today's edition of Viewpoint. Stay in our company. Programs continue here on DBS Television. We'll be back again next week to see what Cameroonians think about issues in the country, in Africa, and in the world at large. Have a blessed weekend. Goodbye. Good night.